Where are you at on your revenue goals?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you at on your profit goals? How's your gross margin?
We're busy. We are so busy.
Yeah. There's silence.
Everyone's working hard. You know, it's been a great year.
And here's the problem with that. All right, welcome back to From Grit to Growth. I'm Jennifer D'Amata.
Good morning.
Q.
Mark Haysbrook here. How are you?
I think we thought it'd be fun to talk about a client story.
Yeah.
And talk about what we've done to help this client develop a business for scale, which is what we do. Develop a business for sustainable profitability.
Mm-hmm.
Develop a business that's fun to be in, fun to live through for her team. And, you know, those are the things we do. So this is kind of one of my favorite client stories. I remember reaching out to her, and it was just a random email. I'd found her somewhere. I can't remember where. And I just said, hey, listen, you know what? I've got a partner. Me and my partner have been in e-commerce for 20 plus years. We also, you know, just really span across several industries, have really developed a playbook for how to grow businesses. And if you ever wanted to talk through your business, just let me know. She actually emailed me right away.
Yeah.
And
so it hit a chord.
It hit a chord. Yeah. What I didn't know, since she's a private business, is she was actually doing quite well from her perspective. Top line, she was around 6 million. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I posted this on LinkedIn as well, which had a lot of engagement. So you can take a look at the story there too. And but it was what was under the hood that was really starting to show problems. And I asked her a simple question. I said, you know, how are you doing on your profit and loss? The thing is, and by the way, she's not the only one. I would say a good 80% of people, if we ask them that question, no matter the size of the business, they don't know. Mm-hmm. So she didn't know. She said, what I do know is my bank account is eroding. Right. And I thought, okay, there's definitely. Yes. So, well, you know, if you don't mind sharing your financials and don't mind sharing a couple of other things, I'd certainly be happy to do a quick assessment. Come to find out, she was actually losing a lot of money.
Really?
Like 5 digits every month.
Wow.
Yes. Her profit was deeply in the negative.
And she didn't know.
She did not know.
She just knew that
she didn't have a P&L.
The bank account was dwindling.
She knew the bank account was dwindling. Okay. Such a common situation.
Yep.
So she knew the bank account was dwindling. And then what came out were other conversations over the course of time. You know, my marketing person used to work really well. It's now not working so great. You know, my inventory, I have too much of, you know, basically dead inventory. I don't have enough of some of our top sellers. A lot of stuff started coming out over the course of time. So, you know, what we did was we stepped back and we said, you know what, there's quite a bit of foundation and framework that's really missing. And this is really what our playbook is all about.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about, just so I get this right, I write my notes down pre our podcast recordings. One of the things that we really focused on was rebuilding the foundation for scale. And we do this across a variety of clients. You know, they're in the business so much, they're not really looking at what's cracking or what isn't going to make it. If you like to ask, I think, a question like this, what happens when they double? What happens if sales doubles tomorrow?
Yeah.
Why don't you actually you say that because you love to ask that question, and we get the wide eyes all the time, the sort of scared looks.
It's first, and there's no shame in not knowing your P&L. It's very common, but it also is an Achilles heel. And so it's one of those, okay, let's first of all get the foundation in place. Let's get a P&L. That allows us to then look at the balance sheet. That allows us to then develop a budget. So how can we operate from that? Now, one of the key questions is, okay, your sales are 6 million. Let's assume cash is free and unlimited. What would you do with that? Number two, if sales go from 6 to 20 next year, how would you react to that? How would you prepare? Let's walk through. And
you ask what's going to break, I think.
Yeah. And there's always something that is very obvious. But I listen for the knee jerk like, oh, wow, inventory. Okay, well, let's attack inventory. How do we approach this? And break it down and splice it up. Or it's like people. I don't know. My gosh, I'm going to need so many people. Well, let's understand why, because maybe you don't. Can there be different ways to thin slice this versus just throwing heads at it?
Right.
But identifying where those weaknesses are, if they know, because we can see it. And without just hitting them over the head and just saying, here's what's wrong. Your pricing, your gross margins, your returns, customer churn, cost to acquire, lifetime value. Let's get into those as well.
And we've got a new client where they have an amazing BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal on the table. And one of the first things they do think about is we're going to have to staff up. And yes, on some level you do, but more people, more problems. Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
More people, more problems. Yep. So it's something to really pause and think through, how can I streamline processes? How can I add tools to the equation? And we should go into the depths on tools at some point in time. People totally just add tools and don't realize, the problems with tools as well, which are a different set of problems. So this gal we needed to really step back and think about scale and efficiencies to get that P&L turned around quickly. Yep. Which, when your P&L is really bad like hers, your balance sheet has meaningfully changed over the course of that time as well, right? Because you're sucking the life out of the top section of your balance sheet. So the second thing, and this is pretty common as well, a lot more common, I think, than people realize is, but we've talked about this a couple episodes ago, is people hire people around them. They hire friends and family, and that is good to get started because there's a lot of small stuff. But once you get to a certain point, you now need to flip from the people who are around you that support you that can kind of get their hands dirty to more heads. Less hands, more heads. Right. That means more expertise. And so that was the second thing that we worked with her on is now your organization needs a level of expertise. You can't go further without e-commerce expertise, inventory management expertise, financial expertise. I know, again, you've had so much experience across so many companies. Have you seen this in? Oh,
constantly.
Okay.
Constantly. And letting go of that and embracing what they actually need is difficult.
Yeah.
It really is. But if you explain it and walk through, let's not assume you're going to triple sales. Let's say you're going to increase 10%. Let's identify the holes. And then we do that assessment. Your insight into how these people function as a team is critical because they'll look at and say, you know what? Here's the gap. It's right here. Help me devise how I strengthen it or fill the gap or get rid of the problem. Because speed in that instance is critical and gut instinct critical. But oftentimes it's like, yeah, but it's my sister's, boyfriend. And you just say, okay, well, how much money do you have at risk here? Well, everything. Does your sister's boyfriend have the same amount of capital in here? Or
so true.
Well, no, but he's such a great guy. I said, well, okay, got it. However, you're going from here to here. He's not getting it done. And you know that. Yeah. And we always ask that question. If you didn't do anything for the next 3, 4, 6 months and we're sitting here talking, would you be extremely happy with where things are? No. Okay. Well, then we got to put something in place. So, but those things in the P&L identify a lot of the operational problems.
Yeah.
Without it, you're just one hand behind your back constantly.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of when to hire expertise. Because expertise does come with expense, and we understand that. And what type of expertise? I talked to a gal yesterday that owns a business in the CPG arena, and she really felt strongly she needs CPG expertise. And I thought, well, if you could look at your team today, how much CPG expertise do you have? How much actual business expertise do you have? And she had all CPG expertise already. I said, well, who's coming in understanding how to run the business, the model, how to vision out the business, even, the incredible things you do with the capital management and thinking about growth from a cash perspective. And she thought, oh yeah. So maybe I have maybe I'm too deep in CPG and I'm not deep enough in other areas. And that's also crucial, is the type of expertise you need and when you need it.
You know what I've seen is a lot of companies are experimenting with, how do you put it, not just, virtual EAs or, finance expert or marketing expert, or versus saying, okay, I'm going to go out on LinkedIn, I'm going to look for someone to fill this job. There actually are better services out there, more cost effective, that can help you in the interim plug those holes. Yep. I think way more effective. Then it allows you to say, okay, let's look at it after 3 months or 6 months. They're getting the job done. Why would I change this? Or this has helped me really define what I'm looking for. Yeah. Now I need this person or talent. But I just think there's so many that are out there that are skill sharing, that you can have a team of people that are not exactly full-time employees, but helping you scale that. And one of the first places I would encourage people to do that is on the P&L.
Yep.
I know you don't know how to do it. I know you have QuickBooks. That's great. Let's actually get someone who can piece this together.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the third thing, is we help individuals with financial governance. Even our top 2 largest clients, if we called them today and said, where are you at, which we've done before, where are you at on your revenue goals? Where are you at on your profit goals? How's your gross margin?
We're busy. We are so busy.
Yeah. It's silence.
Everyone's working hard. It's been a great year.
And here's the problem with that. Yeah. And this is what I worked with this $6 million CEO/founder is, you're not making decisions from the P&L. If you don't know the P&L, you don't know the numbers, you're definitely not making decisions. And then guess what's going to happen to your business? It's going to erode. You have to make decisions in combination with what the P&L looks like and what your budget looks like. So what are the actuals? What is your budget? And that should guide your decisions. Yeah, bottom line.
So true. And one of the things we've done with companies is, what's your target EBITDA? Let's just work on that.
Yeah.
And some of them don't have that, but we just assume let's target 10%. And as a percentage of sales, what should it cost you to run the company? What's that mean? Just the people. You may have space, you may have some overhead, you may have some insurance, you may have these are the people who are dedicated to generating the revenue for the company. Oh, okay. Well, let's look back. It's probably 50% of our revenue. Okay. 50 plus 10, we got 60%. What are your gross margins? Our gross margins are 30%.
Yep.
Well, then you're underwater.
Yep.
Something doesn't add up here.
Correct.
Oh, well, then we got to change. What's the sensitivity to a price increase? Oh my gosh, we can't increase prices. We'd get killed. Let's stress test that. Let's walk through.
Right.
Can you get it on the top line? If not, it's got to come from your overhead. And it's kind of eye-opening. It may be a little too simplistic, but it's eye-opening.
No, it's better when it's simplistic. Like, one of the things I like to do, because I would consider you're way more of an expert than I am in the land of financials, cash management, but I do love my income statements. Yeah. I live and breathe on those things. And one of the things I like to do with a CEO, especially when they're just not so comfortable with financials, is say, what are the tactics, line by line by line? So revenue, cost of goods sold, gross margins, operating expenses. So let's go over and add a column and talk about what are the things to improve that. Let's literally write down the tactics.
Mm-hmm.
Then that gets us into kind of quarterly dashboard, tactical management, things like that. But it helps them really connect dots between this is just a number, 30% gross margin. For some people, they look at that number and it's just a number. They can't connect the dot. So that was the last thing. You know, what comes out of this? Last year, the business was about $7.5 million. So revenues grew.
Wow.
And her profitability was in the black.
Interesting. Yeah.
And well into the black, which was very interesting. But the more important part was this CEO would say to me, you know what? I looked at her gross margin. I think I need to go figure out how to reduce cost of goods. I want to increase prices.
Yep.
Just to your point, I want to increase prices. I'm just going to increase them just a tiny bit and see what happens. And then another tiny bit and see what happens. Because she had the tactics.
Yep.
So she started with the end in mind, the plan, and then backed into some tactics that would help her get to that.
Just love hearing that.
So cool.
Yeah, great story.
Really cool.
Great story.
All right. Well, that's one story down. Let us know if you liked it. And thanks for listening.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. If you want to be one of those stories, contact us.
Yes.